Hello and welcome to Gardening with Ben, the award-winning gardening podcast as voted for by the Grow Your Own magazine and by my followers and by my listeners. I hope that you have all clicked that subscribe button. If you're new to the podcast channel, please do click the subscribe button and then you get notified of all the new podcasts that get launched. And if you're not following me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube and TikTok, make sure you look for Gardening with Ben and follow me on all my social medias. So sit back, relax, grab a brew and let's enjoy today's gardening podcast with Ben. Hello and welcome back to Gardening with Ben for a brand new episode today. And yeah, September has been quite rainy so far. Well, it has here in Sheffield, and hopefully it will start to fill these reservoirs back up if you're in the UK, as we've currently got a hose pipe in a lot of the UK at the moment. So hopefully that rain will really help. And obviously the sun's starting to disappear now in September. We're starting to get towards the autumn weather. So a lot of it, we haven't got much sunshine around at all at the moment. So we've got to try and make the most of it when it is sunny, and things will start to slow down as growing, especially the fruit and vegetables. It will all start to slow down as the colder weather starts to come, and the shorter days as well. That doesn't help with the growth of produce. So today's episode, we are back with our September gardening jobs. So if you have your pen and paper ready, make sure you make some notes, or you can just listen to it over and over again and help get my listening figures up if you want to. But you can make notes as you go along. And yeah, I hope you find some of these useful tips. And I know I'll be going through and doing quite a lot of these tips and advice, getting everything ready and sorted, ready for those colder months. So usually we start off with what's to do in the vegetable garden, what to do in the fruit garden, and then what to do in the flower garden. So first up, we'll talk about what we need to do in the vegetable garden this month. So the first job is to sort out our French beans. So if you're growing French beans, keep feeding them this month and they will keep producing. You'll keep getting crops off them. So if you keep feeding them, they will keep growing, and the more you pick them, the more they'll flower and keep on growing. So yeah, keep them fed. Peas, when they finish producing, do not pull the plants up. A lot of gardeners or newbies pull the plants up and think that they're finished with. What you need to do is you need to snip off the base of the plant, so you leave all the roots in basically. And what this does, it adds nutrients and nitrogen back into the soil, making it really good for next year for growing in. So don't pull out the pea plants, leave them in the ground. Potatoes, if you've got any potatoes in the ground, get them out this month. I know I'll be getting all mine out. I've got quite a lot in there still, what I need to dig up, and if I don't get them out, we'll be having potatoes popping up everywhere next year. So we need to make sure that we turn over our soil and get them all out as much as possible. So that's going to be a big job, what we need to do on a fine day really. I don't want to be doing it when the ground's really wet and soggy, because it'll be heavy to turn over. Pumpkins, if you're growing a pumpkin, place them on a wooden plank or a slate on the bottom. This will stop them from rotting. To help them ripen, cut off any leaves that are covering the pumpkins, because obviously towards the end of September you'll be coming up to Halloween in October, and that is usually around the time that they're ready, around beginning of October, middle of October time. So get them prepared, get them on a slate or on a piece of wood, and hopefully you will have a fantastic sized pumpkin either for Halloween or for eating. Obviously you can use it for soup, you can even roast the seeds as well. So make full use of that pumpkin if you are carving it out. Runner beans, again, keep harvesting them. While you keep harvesting them, they'll keep flowering and they'll keep producing crops right up until the first frost. They are tough, hardy plants, but once the frost gets to them, it will kill them off. So keep picking them and you'll keep producing them. Sweet corn. This month is the time to harvest your sweet corn. Make sure it's ready before you pick it though. Usually you can tell because the tassels have turned brown on the end, and you can always squeeze one of the kernels If they are watery, they need a bit longer. The, it should be not very watery when you pierce the sweet corn. Tomato plants. If you're growing tomatoes outdoor, pinch the tops off the plants and this will encourage them to start ripening now. So if you're growing tomatoes outside, pinch off the tops and this will encourage the plants to start ripening. Quite a few people sometimes lift the plant up and turn them upside down and hang them and in a greenhouse or in a polytunnel, and this will also help ripen them. September in the fruit garden. This is a very busy month this month. It certainly is for me down at the allotment. This month you'll be picking all your apples, you'll be picking your pears. It's a fantastic time of the month. And apples, these will be ready to harvest from your trees. The best way to see if they are ready is to put the palm of your hand in the apple and it should come away from the tree easy. You shouldn't have to pull it off, so just gently pull it, and if it comes off, that means it's ready. If you have to really tug at it, that means it needs a bit more longer on it. If you've got any rotten fruit on the tree, make sure you pull that off as well, because that will cause diseases on the tree in later time. Blackberries, make sure you've picked all your blackberries, get them all picked, get them frozen if possible. Do not waste them, get them before the birds get them, because the birds will start feasting on all the fruit now, ready for their winter, and start storing it really. So don't waste them, they're expensive to purchase in the shops, so make the full use of them. Currant bushes, if you're wanting to make any cuttings from your currant bushes, this is the month to do it. Again, gooseberries, take some cuttings off your gooseberry plants. Now I've just taken some cuttings off my red gooseberry plants and I was reading up on it, and it can take about 4 years for them to get into full swing production. But it's worth the wait, and if you're in a rush for them, obviously you can go out and buy some plants, but I've taken some cuttings from mine. So we never know, they might grow really well, we'll see. I'll keep you all updated. Plums, if you've got any plums left on the tree, they should all be harvested now. Again, make sure there's no rotten fruit left on the tree. Raspberries, if you've been growing summer raspberries, prune back the canes that have fruited this year. All the new canes what have grown this year, leave them for next year, because they'll be the ones that fruit on them. So any that have had fruit on this year, prune them back. They usually turn brown and woody by now, but any new canes what are green and healthy, leave to next year, because they're the ones that will have fruit on them. Strawberries, clear away any old straw away from the plants. This will stop any diseases forming on the plants, and also it tidies them all up. And if you leave straw in that around at this time of year, mice and rats will take it away and use it for nesting, so be careful. Pot up any runners that have formed from the plant. Get lots and lots of free plants. Don't waste them runners, even if you give them away to plot neighbours and stuff like that. Just don't waste them. Always make full use of them, because they're expensive to buy in the shops. So yeah, you definitely want to make use of them. So what jobs do we need to do in the flower garden this month? This is one that I always listen to, because I'm actually growing more and more flowers now, so I need to make the full use of these tips. Climbing roses. Once they finish flowering, these can be pruned back, ready for next year. My climbing roses are just coming to the end now, so I'm going to give them a bit of a tidy up, and hopefully they'll have climbed a bit further next year, because they're taking further to climb. But we'll keep them pruned, and we'll keep hopefully getting some climbing. Flowers, keep taking off all flowers off your plants, and they will keep providing flowers until the first frost, until it gets colder. Hanging baskets, don't give up on them yet. There's still plenty of time left of flowering. Just keep deheading them, feeding them, and they'll keep blooming until the first frost. Rhododendrons, now this is something that I need to listen to, because I planted some last year. I bought them extremely cheap. At this time of year, you need to keep them really well watered, because all the flowers, buds that appear on it from now on, are what will flower next year. So keep them really well watered, because they will be what flowers next year. So that is all the jobs which need doing in the garden in September. So obviously it's a lot shorter, this episode, because as the months move on, it's not going to be as much work to be done in the garden. Hence why it's a shorter episode this month. Last month it was probably about double the length of this. But yeah, there's not as much to do in this time of year in the garden. It's about getting it ready, getting it cleared, and getting it ready, shut down for the winter period, unless you're growing winter stuff in your garden. But yeah, I use September as a month of starting to clear the beds that I've finished now, and also looking at getting maintenance done in the garden, getting it all ready for doing any fit repairs, any greenhouse repairs, any polytunnel repairs, making everything safe for those winter months, because the wind will turn bad, you'll get your big gusts and stuff like that, so you need to make sure everything is secured and fitted well for the winter months, as well as fences and stuff like that. So that has been your episode for today. So tomorrow's episode, we're going to be talking about everything that you can plant in September. And yeah, make sure that you click that subscribe button, make sure you click that follow button, and then you'll get notified when the new podcast comes up as well. And I hope that you do enjoy them. So until next time, remember, keep smiling, keep gardening, and keep listening to Gardening with Ben's podcasts. Thank you for listening to today's Gardening with Ben's podcast. I hope that you've enjoyed it. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do click that subscribe button, and feel free to share it as well on your Instagram stories. All you have to do if you're listening on Spotify is click the share button, and you can share it straight to your Instagram story for all your followers to listen to, and help build my listeners up as well and get more people listening to it. Feel free to check out all my social medias: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube and TikTok. Yes, I'm on TikTok. Go check it out. Check out my dancing. Gardening with Ben. And check out the link as well in the description of this podcast, where you can check out my gardening t-shirt shop, where I sell funny t-shirts with all different funny logos and designs on. And feel free to support me by purchasing one, and all the money obviously goes back into my allotment, where I can share more gardening tips with you all. So until next time, remember, keep smiling, keep gardening, and keep listening to Gardening with Ben's podcasts.